Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm just hanging out for a little bit before I got to go to work for a couple hours. Kind of setting up for a podcast Riley and I are going to do later tonight. So if you don't know, we have a podcast. Do you want to start a tab? It's where we talk about stories in the hospitality industry. And yeah, so it's fun. You go check that out. We do have a YouTube channel for it or any podcast player you listen to. So that's either here and there. We're just hanging out in my basement, kind of cleaning up, and decided to drink some Red Breast 12 year. Haven't done that in a long time. So, yeah. I also wanted to go over, throw around some ideas about future videos. I have, it is nice, Wesley. I haven't had it forever. I don't know why I don't sip on it. We still have half a bottle. I think we've had it now for almost 2 years. Have you tried the other ones yet? This is just the 12 year. They get kind of pricey, which I don't mind paying, but I'm still, do I buy it? But so yeah, we're just ever since changing brand to my personal brand. I want to come up with ways of doing videos a little bit differently. Obviously this is just something I want to kind of explore and see about. Obviously I just posted yesterday's video. A little bit more work goes into it, but I kind of like that style. I had some people, or I had some watched some videos of some woodworkers who have that style, and I kind of like that process. So I don't know. Is there anything anyone specifically wants to see, like, or techniques, or ideas of like questioning like mixology, or why this is done this way, or can we speed up something? Like challenging the system of mixology, not the system of mixology, but the techniques. Some of the things that we've had. You've only had the 12 year. Yeah, I've had several other Irish whiskeys too. We're a big fan of Powers, the Blue Label. That's always a really good one. The Three Swallows, really like that. Bushmills always makes good product. I do really like the Jameson Black Barrel. I love making old fashions with that. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out ideas. I just did how to show 1 gallon a milk wash, and I think that went over pretty well, at least with the video. Me explaining it, I don't know how much. It seems like people like it, but I want to start challenging and start figuring out ways to explore the techniques of mixology and why we do things right. I know I saw Leandro did a short months ago, and he was talking about like the evolution of cocktails and like classic cocktails, and why aren't they brought up to spec, or why people get all bent out of shape when people try to make it not more modern, but just to the times we are. Because a drink that was made 100 years ago, different ingredients and stuff like that. So I'm definitely on that same board with that. I'm not saying every cocktail needs to be changed. Like a martini's a martini, right? An old fashioned's an old fashioned. But some of those older ones, let's say like the Clover Club, for instance, adding just that little bit of dry vermouth gives the cocktail so much more complexity. So, you know, and I would consider that's how the Clover Club should be made. So I want to do other things like that, right? Let's see. I like Bushmill in Michigan. It was the go-to. In Virginia, it seems to be Jameson. Yeah, Jameson is, I'm pretty sure, the default Irish whiskey. I think around everywhere, for the most part. It's just readily available, and the price point is not too shabby. Plus, it's also just used in so many things for like shot wise. So yeah, let's see. I really like the milk wash video. It's a process I use a lot. I make batch cocktails. Yeah, people are like, you made 1 gallon. That's a lot. Well, between my wife and I, it's not that much. It seems like a lot, and it is a process. But now I have 2 gallons worth of cocktails sitting in my refrigerator that we can just kind of pull out and sip on whenever. I mean, it's no different than making like a freezer door, old fashioned, or martini, in my opinion. Um, Batch cocktails are always great. We have, actually, it's Riley's birthday coming up on Sunday, so that's the whole reason I did this whole video, was to basically make this cocktail so I have it ready for her party that she doesn't know about. Oh shit. But and then in a couple weeks I have a bachelor party, so I know I'm going to do a cocktail on that. I don't know what I'm making yet for him, but that should be fun. What's your favorite cocktails to milk wash, Wesley? Anyone else? What's your favorite cocktails to milk wash? It's a topic too. I wonder that's getting, not a topic, but a technique. Is it getting overplayed, right? Or just too many people doing it? I was on the live feed of Very Good Drinks the other day, and they made a really good point. Is there's a there's a reason to use it. It just doesn't need to be used all the time. Is basically their point, right? Like people are just making milk wash clarified cocktails just because they want to, but there's not a reason or a theory behind it, you know. And my thought is, at home, fuck it, you know, try all the cocktails milk clarified, because why not? It's fun, you know. See what you like. But in a restaurant and bar, I think there needs to be more thought behind that process, and to be able to make it good. You know, obviously it still goes with balance and figuring out, does this technique work? Because it is a technique, right? It's just the same as like stirring, shaking. They'll have the reasons to add it. It's an ingredient, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't actually see a lot of those type of cocktails around in my area in Iowa. We're just kind of behind the times. In general, there are, you know, there's probably, I would say 15 or 20 of us in the state that would probably use it. In Dubuque where I live, there's only one other person that really uses that technique. But you know, it is what it is. So, but oh man, I had a topic I wanted to talk about, or had an idea, but pouring this Jameson on my mind just went. But who knows? Does anyone else have any ideas of videos they'd like me to do, or any suggestions, or topics you want to hear about, or you're interested in, or want to hear me ramble about? Favorite is hard. Usually some sort of tiki tropical. Yeah, tropical drinks are always a good one to use that technique for, because usually there's some sort of coconut or creaminess already in it. Blue Hawaiian, okay. I like the idea of keeping it blue. You know, you could do almost like a New York sour, right? You have it clear and then you just float the blue carousel on top. But obviously it's meant to be probably stirred in, so it's more balanced. But I think just visually stunning. You know, floating something on top of a clarified drink is amazing. You know, like I said, I did a whiskey sour, which I can honestly then turn it into a New York sour, and it just looks visually amazing because it's clear with a solid red stripe floating on top. Um, yeah, I know one thing I do definitely want to cover is further education in mixology, or even just cocktails in general. It doesn't have to be mixology, just cocktails in general, or bartending in general. You know, like I've said this many times on our channel, that I come from a place that I'm 100% self-taught, and that started 13 years ago. You know, I read some books, but they were just your old school recipe books, were just recipes. There was no thought behind it. There's no processes behind it or learning. I learned it on my own, and it just amazes me to this day, going to bars around my area, that you can tell they're not educating themselves, you know, like they're not processing what they're doing to be better at their craft. And it sucks. I mean, I wish it happened more, but it is what it is. But it's also like lack of training. Like, who's to blame? Are we blaming the managers, the owners, the bartenders? I don't really think blame is the right word I want to say, but the lack of effort is definitely there. You know, we live in an age where there's how many YouTube cocktail channels, there's how many websites about cocktails, there's how many books. I mean, like, I have just up here, I have 20 books, you know, and it's like they're easy, they're 25 bucks. You know, like, I'm not saying every place has to make the most elaborate cocktail in the world, I just believe a well-balanced, easy cocktail is not too hard to ask, right? A little bit of sugar, a little bit of citrus, a spirit, and a modifier. Basically, it's easy to go. There's no cocktail scene near me. Honestly, there's no cocktail scene uh, really here in Dubuque, Iowa. I mean, and I guess it depends. What are we calling a cocktail scene, right? Like, when I bartend at the Riverboat Lounge at the hotel, they have cocktails there. Brazen has cocktails. There's a whiskey bar that has cocktails. There's a wine bar that has a couple cocktails, and that's about it. Everywhere else has unbalanced buying juice cocktails, or I'm sorry, buying their lime juice, lemon juice to make cocktails, and they're fine. Low expectations, but it's also like just put a little bit more effort and we can have a great cocktail. I just like someone to give a damn when they make my drink. Iceman, I can't agree more. It's like I hate when I don't know if hate is, but I dislike when restaurants have this elaborate menu, right? They have amazing food, and then their cocktail program sucks. And I don't even mean it has to be a program, but just their cocktails are just unbalanced. They don't change. There's nothing growing about it. It's like, man, I just paid $22 to $30 for this meal, and I paid $8 to $10 for this drink, and it sucks. Like, your cooks put in all this effort to make this amazing food, and then the drink sucks. That's at least where in my area, that's more common than not. I mean, we went to San Diego, I think last year? No, 2 years ago now. And every place had amazing cocktails. Again, they weren't like these super sophisticated high-end cocktails, but they were well balanced. They used fresh ingredients. Like, we went to the beach and there's many restaurants, and you would assume they could get away with shitty cocktails because of volume, right? Nope, they had amazing drinks. They were light, they were refreshing, they were balanced. Because I asked the server, and she basically goes, "We have to have these good drinks, or people won't come here." And I'm like, oh, I want to live in a town like that, And I know there's other towns out there that are like that, but when you live in a town and you don't have it, it's kind of disappointing. But yeah, so I don't know. That's about it. I know YouTube just started the Shorts live thing, kind of like what Instagram and TikTok does and stuff like that. But YouTube is my baby. YouTube is where I have my passion at for making content. Obviously, I put content. Hey, Damio, how you doing, bud? What time is it where you're at? Holy shit. I've had really good luck visiting Seattle and Chicago. Yeah, Seattle, I have not been to yet. Chicago has so many great places to drink. The suburbs have great places to drink. Chicago, I love Chicago. Riley hates Chicago because of the traffic, which I totally get. But once you get in there and get to where you're going, it's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Daniel, please tell me what time it is where you're at. Because he is halfway across the world. But Iceman, Philadelphia's got to have some decent cocktails. Actually, probably really good cocktails with all the food. But I need to get out of Philly. I need to get out to Seattle, Portland. Still, Miami is one place I really want to get to. But so yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of fucking around. Probably should go set up for our podcast tonight. But just wanted to check out this new thing that YouTube's doing. Oh, I know what I was saying. YouTube is my baby. It's it's the first platform where you really launched Alchemix Bar besides our website. Website and YouTube are my babies. Everything else is just secondary. It's easy to make a vertical video and put it on all the platforms, but I want to make sure I am dedicated to YouTube. It's 6:45 a.m. Whew. You just woke up. Well, good morning, bud. I'll drink some Irish whiskey for you. Oh, here's Oliver. See? Say hi to YouTube. But I have this new light or new, I don't know, build up? No, that's not what I want to say. Passion. My passion is kind of back for YouTube and sticking with it. I had this mentality of, okay, down. I had this mentality of I had to make sure all my content on all my socials was great. And I think that burned me the fuck out. So if I just concentrate on the two things I love, website and YouTube, I think everything else would just fall in place. And it's like, get off the camera. God, fucking cats. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's my passion and I want to keep building content for you guys, but I also want to do it the way I want to and stop worrying about me, stop worrying about what all the experts say and how I should do things and this and that, and just worry about my style and how I want to do things. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of rambly, 15 minutes, but I appreciate everyone who watches this and who supported Riley and I for the past 3 years. Again, Riley will be on episodes. We actually have a video that we need to make about some gin from another part of the world, and we're going to do that together. I wonder what that could be. But, anywho, hope you guys have a good night. I got to go to work here in about 20 minutes. I got to finish this. Cheers, everyone.